Hi guys, it's Sarah and welcome back to our channel. So today, as you can see by the title, it's a bit of a Q&A and I'm going to be answering the question. I know, you're probably wondering, why is she putting this out there? Why is she answering this question? Well, I basically like to turn some of these questions, whether or not they're good, some of them are decent questions from our subscribers, people who know us, who love us, and who are definitely supporting us. And then there are the questions from the trolls who just like to spread ignorance, who like to just comment ignorant things, who like to, you know. So with that said, I figured I don't mind answering questions coming from both ends. I'm going to start by saying I am answering this question because of two reasons. One, I feel like it could be helpful. That's the main reason. If it was useless, I wouldn't even bother. I find that it could be helpful to those of you who may be in the situation, who may have been there, and you can totally understand and get my drift. And two, to basically show that there's no shame in my game. And yeah, so I'm just going to jump right in. First, one of their questions on one of the videos were, they said, wow, it is often difficult for two parents to stay at home. Basically, like, how do you do it? Now, I'm rewording it a little bit to make it sound a little bit more pleasant, but this person, obviously, they're not for me, because if they were, they wouldn't word the comment the way they did. It would have came from a better place. Yes, we can ask real questions, real serious questions, but they don't have to come from a certain tone. The first thing is, how did you stay at home? How did you make it work? Because clearly, Aaron and I, we got married super young at 19 and 20. But then obviously I've indicated that I've been a stay-at-home mom this entire time. And they are clearly wondering how it worked and yada yada boom boom. So I am going to answer that question. Yes, we did get married at 19 and 20. And for the first year, we lived at my parents' home. We rented the basement in my parents' home, which is what we did. During this time, hubby was going to university. He is a student, or he was a student. He's a chemical engineering student at the time. And so obviously that's what he was doing. When we decided to move out, we moved into, what was considered, it was like a, what do you call it? It's like a geared to income community. So it's not housing, but it's a community, because at any point, whenever he was working, which he did, he had co-op for his engineering, and his co-op paid a lot more than some of the, the average jobs, I would say. The engineering co-op lasted for 4 months, and it occurred twice yearly, depending on the year. I think some years he did it once, while others he did it twice. He also worked part-time at the time, and at any point when we were making income, it all went to, like, we paid full rent. So it was very intermittent. It was like a few months in between where we always paid rent no matter what, but there are very few months where it was like maybe cut in half or minimized just for that reason. Say that in the case where those programs are there, they are there to help get people back on their feet, to help get them to live out their dreams. Not to live out their dreams by sitting and abusing the programs per se, but by actually going back to school, or looking for the right job, or whatever it is that they need to do. And that's exactly what we used it for. So in those cases, I definitely don't see anything wrong with it, because in the end, honestly, looking back, any kind of assistance that we did get, Aaron already paid it back in taxes. And all the taxes he's worked has been done, paid maybe 20 times by now. So for any of you guys who are watching, who may be in that predicament, who may have to, especially if you live in the States, because I know our situations are not the same, our scenarios aren't the same because we don't live in the same place. But if you are in a predicament where you need help and you need assistance, go out there, look and see what is available to you. Don't have any shame in your game, especially if you know what you are trying to do. You're trying to be on your mission to go back to nursing school, to go be an engineer, to be whatever you want to be. You can do it. Just put your mind to it. Another thing I want to say is that when we left my parents' home, this was actually my doing. And after Aaron and I got married, we just planned on living there. And he had no idea that I had applied for this program, but I did ahead of time, because I also wanted us to get a sense of independence. When we lived at my parents', we did pay rent. It wasn't like oh my gosh, like market rent, but it was definitely rent. And I did appreciate the fact that they did that because it allowed us to grow up. It allowed us to be, had we just lived there and thought that, oh my gosh, life is so easy and lived there rent free, that wouldn't have taught us anything. It would have, well, if anything, it would have taught us that things come easy. But I appreciated the fact that they allowed us to practice being real adults, that when we did leave on our own and we went out into the world, we were actually pretty prepared and we knew how to handle our money a little bit better because we had been practicing while we lived at my parents. So secondly, I want to say because he was a student, we applied for OSAP, and OSAP is the loan that we here in Canada. So I just want to clarify at the same time, I'm not sure the person who wrote this comment where their comment came from, if they're American, if they're viewing me as like an American, but I am from Canada, so things are a little bit different here. And here we have our student loans, which are called OSAP. These are loans that you borrow to help pay for you to go to school, and they also have somewhat grants in there, but they also take into account your family at the time. And so whatever you're borrowing, you're basically paying it back. So at any point we were borrowing, like we do have debt, and unfortunately we are among the people that are plagued by education debt, which is not a very good debt these days because it's overall it's just not very good. It does prohibits you from doing certain things, from moving along in life, because it's just very stressful. Okay, or with that said, yes, Aaron and I both are plagued with the educational debt. So yeah, OSAP was one of the other modes of our income at the time. And obviously in here, like I said, we also have what you call our child tax benefits at the time, which we did receive as well. So we had various little things. They're not what you would call like your typical source of income, like of a working family per se, but at the same time, these were our sources of income. And so let me refresh it for you guys for 1 second. We were getting money from student loans. We had like the basic child tax benefits, which every parent in Canada gets because we pay towards it. And Aaron also worked as an engineer twice a year. So that the way child tax benefit works, so here is the higher your income, the more you receive, the lower your income, not so much. And back then, even though hubby was an engineer and he was working multiple times a year, so 8 months out of the year, what he was making is not the same thing as like a full-time salary, because he wasn't on salary per se. He was still a student. This was his co-op position. But now, obviously, when he's grown adult working full-time engineering job, it's very different. So you can't expect the child tax benefit to be the same. But I just wanted to let you guys know that. But we always made it work. We had more than enough. Our kids never went without. In fact, where we lived, both of our parents lived like 5 minutes away in both directions. So honestly, we at the same time, though we were on our own, we spent a lot of time at our parents'. Like we would go and spend the weekend there, or we would go and so our parents helped a lot in those ways. We could just go there for dinner a lot in the evenings. Aaron had a lot of schoolwork, plenty of time, so then the kids and I would hang out at my parents and things like that. So we had different modes of help. With any form of help or assistance that we may have gotten, I'd like to say, even if that was the case for us, I wouldn't have any qualms sharing it with you, because we were not the type to ever try to utilize things to our advantage. We both went on to do school, and we did it for the reasons for the reason that we want to have. We want to have an education. We want to do the things we want to do in life. At this point in time, it makes sense for me to stay at home. I'm not sure, like I said, if you don't live in Canada, but in Canada, you do pay a lot of taxes. And then with having families and having our children that we want, you then have to pay for childcare and just all the different scenarios that are out there. And with that being said, it works out better for me to stay at home. At the rate that we are at, we pay a lot of taxes just to begin with. I'm speaking about our individual selves here. As with anyone else who lives here in Canada, if you're working and you understand that, you already know. I don't even have to explain it to you. But for the person who made the ignorant comment on my channel, I just want to clarify: you obviously have it wrong. And like I said, I'm not sure if you're basing my scenario on that of an American, but I am not American. I live in Canada, and things are a little bit different here. And if anything, I always work and aspire to want to help back my community, because there were little helps available to me during that time when we were young. But like I said, we weren't getting the fullest, we weren't getting aid in the fullest of any kind, because no matter where we lived and what we did, we were always paying rent, and most times we were paying full rent, and it wasn't easy. With regards to OSAP, I just want to clarify that that is a loan that we still have. We still have outstanding OSAP loans. And this is why I'm here making videos. It's like a little bit of a side hustle on YouTube. If I can grow my channel into something to make something of it, that would be great, because any form of income that would be coming in would be helpful to my family. But at the same time, I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy sharing them with you. So I understand, yes, like, it makes sense for me. This is something that I want to do. This is something that I enjoy doing it. And I think I'm pretty decent at it. Obviously, with everything comes a little bit of, everything is like an experience. You get better the more you do it. And I feel like I'm getting better the more I do this vlogging thing. And you can see I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm not being forced to do this. If I were, you would see it and it would be shown. But I genuinely enjoy doing what I do. Like I've said before, the income that's provided on account of my husband is perfectly fine to cover our family. So anything else that we get on top of that would be extra. And YouTube does create that kind of just opportunity. And so why not take advantage of it in a sense? Keep in mind, I did start my channel way before YouTube was even paying, or maybe when it was paying. I mean, it wasn't about that to begin with. Okay, I hear you. It wasn't about that from the very get-go, but the more I see that it can become something, the more I'm enticed to want to try. People think that making videos on YouTube is just like, oh, it's so easy, but it's not, because there's a little bit of effort that's put in there. There's definitely effort that's put into making our videos, that's put into editing them and to titling them and to all and the stuff, you know, and to be consistent. It's easy. That's the toughest part of YouTube, is to be consistent. It's like when other things are going on and you don't want to do it, and you're exhausted, but you still have to put your videos up because you want it's like a little business. You're striving to succeed at it. You're striving to do well. So you want to ensure that it does that, and you're putting forth that effort. So people think that that's all easy, but it's not. And that's my reason for doing this. If I'm able to have this little side hustle in a sense, and it's, I mean, a legal side hustle, not anything illegal, I'm happy doing it, because if it can generate a paycheck in any form that can help get rid of our student loans, which we do have, that would be fantastic. We have them, we pay them monthly, and it's not chump change. In fact, like, it definitely changes the way we live. We would be going on a vacation at this very moment had we not had student loans to take care of. But that's another story. But I hope I answered that question for you, whoever you are, just to educate you a little bit, and just also share with you guys, my viewers who are A1. Y'all know who you are. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for your love and your kindness. And like I said, I will never not share be candid with you guys, because I want to indicate to those of you who maybe in government housing as to what this person was trying to bash or whatever it is. I just want to let you know that if you're there, don't give up on don't give up on your goals. Constantly work to what you want to do, and succeed, and prove to those around you. I would say prove to yourself first what you're capable of, and know that you're not stuck. You don't have to be there. I know it's easier said than done, but hard work does pay off. And when you have a mentality of seeing the bigger picture, you will definitely get there, which is what we did. Like, so just student. But yeah, it's not always easy, and obviously if we didn't have the drive to want more in life, it wouldn't come. It wouldn't be there. So I just wanted to share this little story, this little video with you guys, just to share a little inspiration, to let you know where we came from as to how we're here, and just that journey as to, you know what I mean, like how we even survived back then. Now I can talk about today, how we survived today on one income. Stay tuned for part 2, and I will have that video out for you guys, because this was about before. This is like this is definitely going to be part 1. So stay tuned for part 2, and I will share with you how we survived today. So thank you guys for watching again, and much love.
Hi guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to join the tribe. Subscribe.